Welcome to No Man's Sky, fellow travellers. Okay, in today's video we are going to talk about No Man's Sky. No Man's Sky has recently came out with a new update patch called Beyond 2.0. It is a massive update patch which brings virtual reality into the game, something that we have long craved for since the game has actually started. Since the game first came out, we have been waiting for this patch, and it is an absolute awesome patch. Now, this game reminds me a little bit of Skyrim. If you may remember, a long time ago, Skyrim got updated, patched so that it had VR support, or Skyrim VR as a standalone game, and that was awesome. It brought forward a whole new world, a new virtual world for you to explore, filled with magic and dragons, so much gameplay and stuff, but also a lot of bugs and a lot of problems. But we loved it. We loved it no matter what. Same thing goes for No Man, right? Sorry, not Skyrim. For No Man's Sky. Now, No Man's Sky is not, or should I say, Hello Studios is not a AAA developer. It is an indie developer made up of just a few people and some time on their hands to actually do this. So I am going to review this as an indie developer rather than a AAA developer, because AAA developers are not doing squat these days at the moment. They're all more or less focused on loot boxes and microtransactions, just to get you to give the extra pennies after you played the game, after you played and bought the game. Hello Game Studio isn't doing anything of like this. They gave you the game out like 2-3 years ago. And then they've been giving you update after update after update, totally free of charge. And for that, I salute them. They're doing such wonderful jobs with what they've got. Admittedly, when they first came out, everyone hated them. Everyone hated Hello Game Studios because they thought, oh, well, you promised this, you promised us that, and you didn't get us anything. So a lot of people went on, didn't like it. They turned off and they spurned Hello Game Studios. But for like the true gamers that have been following this game since the beginning, they have known they have risen from the ashes. They have brought forth update patch after update patch. They got forth Atlas Rising, Visions, and now Beyond, and they have just done so much wonderful work with this game. So without further ado, let's give a little bit of a review of their Beyond 2.0 update. Now, as I said, this game has got a lot of pluses as well as quite a few negatives. And first, I'm going to talk about the negatives first. Now, don't get me wrong, I do really enjoy this game and I enjoy this update, but as someone once told me, if you want to leave on a positive, leave on a positive. So, firstly, the VR headset. Now, when you put the VR headset on, compared to all other games, it is quite blurry. It is really, really blurry, and a lot of people are having problems trying to accept that. However, the game, as it goes on, you still enjoy the game. It is still enjoyable, it's still unplayable. You do get the idea of the surroundings, you certainly do get the idea and sense of scale. But as someone once quoted, it's like playing a PlayStation 2 game. But yes, this isn't a fault on No Man's Sky. Oh, sorry, let me rephrase that. This isn't a fault on Hello Game Studios. This is more or less shows how limited the actual VR headset, how PSVR headset is in today's market. Now, what I have seen with the PlayStation VR, it is awesome. It has done so much work. It has basically brought in the gaming industry into VR fully and 100%, and you've got so much great stuff, whether it be Moss, Wipeout and such. You do see some pretty spectacular visuals coming from the PlayStation VR. However, it does have its limits, and No Man's Sky pushes those limits, and it tries to go beyond those limits, and you notice that in the visuals. It is seriously degraded in the actual headset. For instance, the most prominent feature that I found whilst playing this was during base building. Now, when I do base building in game, I have created some pretty big bases. Okay, I mean, I've got sky bases, which are like massive towers and leading up to a launch platform up in the sky. I have got glass towers, so you can see the massive visuals as you look around. I have got undersea bases, and like I said, and these are all created in survival mode, or normal mode when it first came out. On my main character as I building, creating these stuff from scratch, but when we try to view them on the VR headset, it doesn't want to render in. All my stuff, all my portables and my put downs, they're not visible. You can't see them, you can't interact with them. There are a lot of things like the data scanners or the research scanners you couldn't interact with because it thinks that it's not there. It was crashing constantly. The game crashes over and over and over again. There was even one point just before I actually came in to do this video where it crashed during the crash report screen. I didn't even think that was possible. It crashed during the crash report screen. I had to reboot the PlayStation, and even after rebooting the PlayStation, it then came up with the crash report screen so I could carry on. I didn't even think that was even possible for the PlayStation to do. But there you go. That is another problem with this game. It crashes consistently. So far you've got like the lack of draw distance in there, the blurriness, the not rendering in of textures until, well, you've fallen through the floors. Stairs. You cannot climb stairs in VR. You always end up falling through them. Or if you've got raised platforms, you got all the raised platforms with like a hole right in the centre. When I tried to climb up my tower, it wasn't a fact of walking up the stairs, it was a fact of trying to do a mini skill-based game of doing jump pack hops until the next level renders in underneath you, or actually becomes solid enough for you to put your feet down on it. So climbing upstairs should just be a matter of climbing upstairs, not a challenge of your skills. But like I said, this is all the limitations that the hardware has. It can't do the massive amount of inputs that is required for this game, and that has been a solemn reminder for me of saying how limited the PSVR itself is. It does some great visuals when used right, but in an open world game like this, you will find yourself seriously limited to what you can do and what you can see. So what I recommend is, if you are doing base building or anything that requires full focus, detailed attention, do it on flat screen. If, however, you want to explore the worlds, go out and just like mine stuff and just take in the sceneries, do it in VR, because that is awesome. When you first get in your ship and then take off, and as you look out the side window and you see your wings or the engine of your airplane transposed over the disappearing planet as it vanishes behind you. It is just an awesome feeling. It is just so great, so awesome. It kind of reminded me of when I first launched a fighter jet in Ace Combat, because this is sort of what we need. Our own, very own virtual universe to explore and craft in, and the aliens to encounter. So this is a pretty wonderful game. Okay, right, now let's move on. So what are some of the other advantages that it's done? Now, I have noticed that in this update they have increased the inventories, so that instead of the main inventory of 500 per slot unit, it is now 1,000. When you're trying to do refining, instead of the normal like 250 input that you're allowed, you can do 1,000, up to 1,000 input, or 1,023, as well as the output as well in refining is up to 1,023. I don't know why it's 1,023. Maybe that's just the items that I'm using just being overloaded it from 1,000, or maybe it's down to the bitmaps. The bit ratio that it's not bitmaps. The bit ratio that it's assigned to, such as which is 1,024 is the level. So, kind of shows you the way of the coding going for this game, or how they worked it out, rather than just having a standard variable. They set it up to a maximum of 1,024, 0 being 1, so therefore it only shows us 1,023. Okay, base building in itself is all fine. Like I said, when you're doing full-blown base building, I certainly recommend doing that in flat screen rather than VR. But as I said, exploring in VR is awesome. You've got two controllers that you can use. You can either use the Move controllers, or you can use the dual stick controllers, or the DS4 as it's now called. Sometimes some people call it. I prefer using the DS4 controller simply because I like doing the side strafing, moving left, right and centre. However, when you use the Move controllers, it does give you that little extra that you can play around with, such as when you get into the cockpit, when you get into your ship, you have to lift up the latch over your head before you actually get out. It took me a while to actually realise that, because when I went from the start game to my full proper game with all these ships and such, and actually had the hands in my, the Move controllers in my hands, I didn't get any notice of how to open up my ship. So I put my hands on the release latch, nope, nothing there. Try pressing and holding all the buttons, nope, nothing. But what you need to do is you need to put your hands on the release latch and push outwards or upwards, depending on which side you want to get out. And yeah, it took me a while to realise you have to push it outwards rather than upwards, which is what I was trying to do. But yeah, finally got there. As I said, you've got a whole other level of being able to manipulate the guns properly. You're aiming up, looking down the gun sights to do the scanning. I mean, with the dual stick controllers, you can aim the guns by turning it around, but it's not the same thing as holding it in your hands. If you want to pop your guns away, you have to put it over your back and then press the Move button, and the same thing to bring it out. And also, if you want to bring up your scanner, you hold your left hand up to your eyes and then press the Move button so that you activate the scanner, which I think is quite cool, except for the fact that when I'm trying to move backwards, I'm doing the same sort of motion, and I end up bringing the scanner when I'm trying to backpedal, which is annoying, but yay. Now, So last night, me, Gamertag, and a couple of other people created this nice little universe. We created this nice little solar system, called it VR Community. Gamertag has got his own little planet. I got my planet, which is Max PSVR, and we're all like building a nice little community of structures down there. So I mean, if you want to come in and join in, please, you're more than welcome to come in, set up a little base for yourself, and maybe we can build VR Central. So that'll be good. Looking forward to it. Up and coming, there are a few other things that I think are still left to be implemented, or if they are implemented, I haven't seen out how to get them yet, is the Nexus Hub. Now, apparently, the Nexus Hub is a device that you can actually, not a device, a something that you can spawn in above the planet in space. Now, when you spawn this in, it is instant. There's no load time required. You spawns it in as if it was like another space station, and then you would fly up to it. And when you fly up to it, you land, and it will be like a massive shopping centre, as well as communal hub for all other players. So you'll find other players from left, right, from all over the world, or all over the universe in this case, converging here. But I do think that it is limited to how many people that can be using this. I think it's something like, I'm just going to make up numbers now, 32 for the PC, but 18 for the PlayStation. We're going to have to double check those numbers. I'm sure we'll find out what they are in time. But yeah, so that's the another thing that we're looking for. The Nexus Hub is supposed to be, we'll have missions for group missions, such as base building missions, as well as subjugation missions, flight missions, and all sorts of missions that you can do, that you can take in as a group. There probably might even be some PvP missions in there as well. We'll have to see. And that will be pretty damn awesome, I think. Yay, we're looking forward to that. There has been some rumours about the game going along the same sort of lines as Satisfactory. I don't know if you've ever known that game. I've only just recently found out about it myself, and it looks awesome. But what they want to try and do is sort of industrialise the base building area, so that you can create, store and manage or mass produce other items, so that you mine stuff, it gets converted off in conveyor belts to other sections like smithers, where it can refine it, or point into refiners and so on. I don't know if this is true or not, but if it is, that will be an awesome thing. So this video has just been made right after day one, on Wednesday the 14th, which is when the original game came out. So the original patch came out. So this is what we got for the first part of the patch. Now apparently over the next few days, in fact even whilst I'm recording this now, I've just noticed another update that's just gone through on there. So I'll be looking forward to seeing how that goes. And maybe a little bit later on down the line, once it's all out, once it's all up and running, we'll do another video and see if we can get something decent. See what we've come up with going forward. So, fellow travellers of the universe, we have come to the end of the video. I certainly hope you've enjoyed watching this. Look forward to seeing you in other videos. There are lots more to come. Don't forget to check us out, like, do the needful, and subscribe and everything. Hopefully I'll see you around. Thanks very much, and I'll see you guys out there.